there, my name is Jordan Leroy Hansen, also known as LeDev, and I am here to provide a deck tech video for a deck for one of my favorite games, which is Hearthstone. I like to play a variety of card games, and I also like to try some silly, janky brews in all variety of games. And I thought I would show one off that I was toying with before the Boomsday expansion and before we can go into full-on jank with some more peculiar brews. This actually inspired me when I was thinking about making a mech quest hunter once the Boomsday expansion comes out. But the expansion's not out yet, so I was thinking, okay, what other creature archetype that I can use to complement the hunter quest? And it's the one that starts with an M, which is Murlocs! Now, this deck pretty much relies on the Marsh Queen quest. Now, for those who don't know the quests are a mechanic in Hearthstone that came out from Journey on Tungor, which is basically, this card will start out in your hand, and what you do is you play the quest. And you try to complete the quest, and you get a reward. The quest here is play 7 1-cost minions. And the award is Queen Carnassa, which is a giant raptor queen, which is a 5-mana 8/8 that has a battle cry. Shuffle 15 raptors into your deck, which are 1-mana free 2s that, when they enter the battlefield, their battle cry is they draw a card. So they cycle themselves, which is really nice. Now, the way I do this quest, it's kind of a Beast Murloc mid-range deck that also uses the quest as a win condition. That sounds weird, but let me get to it. So obviously we have our 1-drops to help complete the quest, which one of them is the Murloc, which in this case Dreadscale Knight and Murloc Tidecaller. Now some people are kind of wondering why I don't put the one Lord in here where it gives Murlocs +1 attack. I figured with the board states we're not going to have too much Murlocs. This is more kind of a Murloc deck where you kind of more try to build on individual minions themselves, kind of like how you do in mid-range Hunter with Beasts, rather than go wide with Murlocs. So we have our 1-drop Murlocs. We also have a 1-drop Beast such as Diamol, great 1-drop in the meta. Jeweled McCall helps us as a semi-draw engine. Stone Tusk Boar, it's just a nice 1-drop Beast that you can synergize with what we're going to be talking about next, which is our 2-drops. Our 2-drops are fiends that essentially will benefit our 1-drop minions if they can stick on the board. Crackling Razormaw, classic example. Pretty much you adapt a Friendly Beast, which is another mechanic that came from Ungoro, which essentially means that you give the minion a buff. Sometimes it's Wind Fury, sometimes it's silent, or being able to have stealth. It's a variety of mechanics. You get to them once you see the gameplay footage. But mostly, it's just there to buff our 1-cost Beast, or even our late-game Beast, which we'll get to. Rockpool Hunter, same thing, but with Murlocs. With all the Murlocs we get, we can actually just give it a stat boost, which giving it a stat boost is great. And if we have to play a 2-mana 2/free, it's not the end of the world. Also, another 2-cost Beast in this case is the Vicious Scalehide. Mostly I put this in as a tech card against the more, dare we say, aggressive aspect of the current meta, so just to use as a way to get life gain and also deal some damage to some very annoying 1-drop Silverhand recruits, I'll just say. Then we have Deadly Shot, which is mostly in there against like Control, aka those that pretty much try to play Mountain Giants early and such. We pretty much use this as an answer to Mountain Giant. Kill Command also against mid-range minions, but we can also use it as a finisher if we need to. Then the one card that makes me both inspired to do the Mech quest, and even now this alteration, the Murloc quest, it's the Nightmare Amalgam. So it's a 3-mana 3/4, good stats, and it's a creature type of everything, aka Elemental, Mech, Demon, Murloc, Dragon, Beast, Pirate, and Totem! Boy, I can't wait for the Boomsday Project and magnetize this bugger. But we have ways to benefit it, such as one things is obviously the boost as we were talking about. We can adapt it. Oh, we can also give it a stat boost, but we can also Dire Frenzy it, which then shuffles 3 copies into it and give them free 3. Now, the test I want to do with the Nightmare Amalgam, since I'm not sure, with these minimal stat boosts or even adapt abilities, I'm wondering if it shuffles those within the deck as well. It could just be the stat boost. I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of want to test that out. Also, Gentle Megasaurus is in here, so if we have a Nightmare Amalgam out, or any of our early game Murlocs that still survive, then we can give them stat boosts as well. Fulfill Warden is pretty much our draw engine in our deck to help us try to complete the quest faster, and Tundra Rhino. Now, the subtle synergies of this deck is you can actually use Dire Frenzy not just for Nightmare Amalgam, but when you complete the quest, if you get, say, you play the Queen Carnassa, you can Dire Frenzy Queen Carnassa and then shuffle more beasts in your deck. I recommend that if you are going more against a control archetype. That way you can keep your deck constantly filled with the stuff and then fill your board constantly, which then eventually they will not have an answer to your body of raptors and such. Also, you can put it on Stone Tusk Spore if you're going against mid-range, because a 1 mana 5/5 charge, that's good burst damage. But the main win condition of the deck is using Tundra Rhino, and in Fury, keyword is Fury, being able to play pretty much charging our beasts, which hopefully like our raptors that we get from Queen Carnassa, play, charge, play, charge, play, charge, even Nightmare Amalgam, maybe even give it a stat boost if we can. Mostly it's a mid-range deck that tries to keep the board control until they can get into some burst damage of some sort to help finish off the game. But mostly it's a board control deck. It's mid-range. I love mid-range decks. I love janky decks. And of course, I mean for Pete's sakes, I like Murlocs. So, let's actually stop talking about the deck and actually start playing the deck. Shall we? I'm not going to promise that we're going to be like 4-0 with this deck or anything, because the meta has been very healthy, and that's actually pretty good. But obviously this deck has weaknesses to some certain archetypes and such, and also some strengths to some certain archetypes. Mostly my worst matchup, and it's a popular matchup, unfortunately, is Even Paladin.
Illyria versus
Okay,
Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine!
Tremble before the might of the
I like going
elves.
second. I don't because if we are going against Heel Lock, like Zoolock, we're fine. If we're going to go against Even Lock, we might have some trouble. But we'll see what he's playing. Okay, we like this hand. One of our 1-drops, but it's not the end of the world.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Even Lock, so pretty much we have to draw into a kill shot and get ready for the inevitable mountain giant. Or at the very least, try to build board presence. Okay, works.
Job done.
Well, that's being random. Sometimes you get some nice things. Sometimes... Well... Okay, so he probably is just building that for board presence. We're going to go slow too. We'll probably just play our Nightmare Amalgam. Hopefully it doesn't get traded in. And then we either Dire Frenzy, or we think it's more better to have a quote-unquote... I'm gonna save that for a rainy day. If it survives, we can either Dire Frenzy it for a trade or Jinta Megasword to buff it somehow. But what I'm thinking he's going to do now is usually on do Hellfire or they do okay, we have a choice. Here, Dire Frenzy. That makes it a 6/7. Doesn't trade into that, unfortunately. We could also play the lottery game and see if we can do that. But I think we'll just play this. Poisonous. Don't. Let's give it make them wonder why that, and try to hopefully scale them into doing a Hellfire. I hope that works. It doesn't work all the time. Okay, so he's not scaled into a Hellfire. He's probably just trying to draw it.
Pitiful mortal.
You knew you have to be a 55 opponent, right? Maybe he's just playing for board presence. I shouldn't be too unpresuming we shuffle into some Murlocs.
Yeah.
Some people are making these didn't just
Job's done.
Honestly, that was a tempting thought, but I figured the Murlocs will be a lot more better stats. Like a free mana 6/7, drawing into that will be helpful for us for the game rather than more peculiar stats. Plus, it allows a beneficial trade. Okay, so what we're going to do here is this. Play the vicious scale. And as the old phrase goes, flip with the coin.
Right between the eyes.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta appreciate when you go on heads. Okay, so now he's probably gonna Hellfire. Or eat some. I'll probably hold on these for later. We'll just get this beast out.
Job's done.
He can trade into it, so, or does Siphon Souls if I have to make a guess. Yeah. Okay, that works.
Come to me, little ones.
I think I'm just gonna play that. Yeah, we should probably put some issues in this deck. I was trying to convince myself not to at the current moment for this current gimmicky iteration. But if we keep going against these even locks with their very annoying mountain giants and let's play a second match, shall we? Okay, sorry about that. Just was checking up on text message. Okay.
Illyria versus Jaina.
You asked for it. Tremble before the might of the elves.
I can deal with this hand. Quest. Pretty much quest. Hero power. Presumably we don't get a 2-drop. Or 1-drop. Then play Nightmare Magnum. Then Rockpool Hunter. So, depending on if this is Tempo Mage, I might just play this out just to keep the board advantage. Looks like Elemental Mage. Then we're just going to have to probably Dire Frenzy or Kill Command the target Reaper. What spell would I be annoyed that if he counterspell? This is just more for a finisher. This is an essential component that actually can help us keep a current board presence, especially if this is Grinder and Elemental Mage. I think I would rather fish the counterspell.
What to do?
pretty much the burn spell, so we'll just play the Stone Tusk more and just get the out of the way.
Job done.
Yep. Ouch. You're probably wondering why I didn't do it on the Dread skill 9, especially with the combo with Dire Frenzy, like we could have done in the previous one.
Move now.
It's mostly because of the into Gentle Megasaurus, and then we can just turn 5, play this to Gentle Megasaurus, and give us a significant board state advantage. If not, then what we can do is we can just Dire Frenzy this, and then just go in for the board trade. That is the game plan, at the very least. Though one could make the value argument, I should probably just keep used to actually just pretty much Dire Frenzy fours, but oh hey, at least draw one just in case we want to, so... Okay, so... We could play it now... Okay. Alright, he's either going to do a board wipe now, or he's just going to ping this off or this off, and we can just use the minimal life gain. And there's his spells. He's hoping he draws a removal spell. Doesn't seem to. Okay, now this is where we don't get too greedy, and we just... Most importantly, we'll hold on to this, but I think the best play here is to use Dire Frenzy on this again, so we can shuffle it more. Into our deck that are also beasts, so yeah, now it is going to be, once we draw the one that we have that's good, it's going to be a 9/7 for free. Well, we drawed one of our 6/7s. Hold on our free for one, just in case if we need it for a rainy day. Maybe I should just quit the quest out of this entirely.
Reality
Murloc
woven.
So yeah, he plays a nice secret. He has Vaporize, and he probably thinks I'm going to play the Face Hunter method of go in, the Vaporize and such. That's a possibility. It could also be Ice Block. It could also be Counterspell. Let's think about this. So, we could deal 5 damage, 11,
Who to shoot?
12, 13. I think the first thing I'm going to do is see if it's Counterspell. Okay, it's not Counterspell.
Yeah.
A slow spell. No. So, Vaporize or Ice Barrier, so we'll keep our board presence at the moment. He is one turn away of becoming Frostlich Jainer, so what he could do is he might just try to do a board tempo control of using a removal spell, or a taunt minion of some sort. Or just have the Wonders and go with Popcorn. Spell he needed. Or he has
You
Ice
win
Barrier.
this.
Or he does not have Ice Barrier, and I just won the game. But that doesn't count. I won at least a game with this deck. Okay, we'll play one more before the video. At least I can say I won one game with this deck. At least I could say that. You hear that, little girlie? I won a game! Woo! Okay, who are we going against now?
Illyria versus Garrosh.
Tremble before the might of the elves.
Hunt Hunter? Rush Hunter? Or Hunt... Did I say Hunter? Blah! This is either Taunt Warrior, Rush Warrior, or Big Warrior. or even just standard control order. So, I don't really like the charge dude. That's fine. Okay, let's figure out what we're playing against.
None will
Yeah,
survive.
we're playing the quest. It's Taunt Hunter. He plays his quest, and I'll surprise him by saying, "You're playing a quest? I'm playing a quest. My quest is to get a giant dinosaur. His quest is to get a giant bird spell that's good for control decks." Well, burn spell that's a hero power, but you know what I mean. Anyway.
What?
Okay, so just building up this board. As many people, this is just the equivalent of messing with these little interactive icons they put on the game board.
Out of my jungle!
Kind of like having a desk toy on your desk. It's like, well, Murloc desk toy. You just mess with it while you try to work on stuff. But in this case, it's more when you're trying to wait for somebody to play their turn. Okay, that's a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So what we can do is we can either hopefully get poison. There. Play we get monkey. We pass the turn. We're just going to turn by Twiggy and Warden to draw more 1-cost spells. So this is not the Murloc plan. We're just now going to go with the basic quest plan, which is play 101 drops and get a big Carnasa.
Bare your soul to me.
Well, we still have poison. There we go. There we go. Now we draw more Murlocs for Gentle Megasaur.
That minion already attacked.
That is actually a good question for the audience. Is it beneficial to Gentle Megasaur just a Murloc type?
Rot into my core.
Say yes to that, some of you will say redundant. Okay, I'm gonna say something. This is for experimentation. It's not practical what I'm going to do next, but this is more for experimentation. Because as I mentioned
Who
before,
to shoot?
you get the poisonous adaptation on this, right? So, with the new patch rules, if I Dire Frenzy, it will get the stat buff, obviously, but does it also get the poisonous buff? That's what I wanted to experiment, so I'm grateful that this peculiar
Now.
even this experiment is actually beneficial to the overall game plan, since you're just going to be playing a bunch of high-cost taunts, which having a 1-mana 4/7 poisonous is pretty beneficial. Okay, so now we're going on the... You won't see the experiment just yet. I think we just played the monkey. Could make the legitimate argument that I probably should be saving those for removal spells against his taunts. Especially since this could be the variation of taunt that they just wait until Phantom Militias for a lot.
My blade be thirsty.
Okay, if you told me that that was going to be in a quest warrior, I would... this version. That would felt really bad, but actually, hang on a minute. Okay. The more practical choice to here, to be quite frankly honest, would just be to just deadly shot. But I am so tempted
Who
to
to
actually
shoot?
just play the Murloc Tiger rather than that, than also to main source. Yeah. Now, I would not recommend doing this at home on your regular play session of this deck, because, especially against this archetype, because what will happen is brawl. Or just a big taunt, and we actually are very close to this, because all we have to do is just...
Right between the eyes.
Job done.
Yeah, but we are ridiculously close. Does he have an answer? Go shield slam. Okay. So, what we do here...
Come to me, little ones.
I was hoping we'd roll into one of those, the dire moles that had the stat buff. Not at the moment, though. Save these Murlocs just for later. This game is not over exactly just yet. He does have ways to keep himself protected. Because as long as a warrior has
Out of
armor,
my jungle.
Okay, so he's probably going to trade the 5-1? Okay, I don't think that was the smart. Was that the best move? Technically, we should trade with this and then trade with this and keep this on the board. And now Brawl will not be a total pain in my buttons. So far, this is pretty. Okay. This is going to be the board state where if he's been holding on his Brawl, he is going to be playing his Brawl right about... This deck runs Brawl, right? No, I guess he just playing a Taunt Fairy? The deck? But we got this. All we have to do is do...
Well played.
And probably put it on HearthCon, whatever the name is, when I upload the video and such. But overall, that's the deck. I hope you guys have fun trying this deck out if you have the cards. It's an amusing deck archetype. It can definitely be tweaked according to whatever the meta is. I'm more excited to try the mech variation that I'm going to be toying with when the Boomsday project goes out. Which, by the way, as a quick announcement, I will be streaming on the launch day this Tuesday, so if you guys want to see me try to do some janky brews and such, and see how I brew decks and such, well, have some fun and go watch the stream. Or just play the game on launch day as well, because it'll be fun just to see everybody toy around with new archetypes and just see the overall chaos that launch day usually provides. Overall, though, I hope you have a lovely day. This is LevDev, signing out.